The weather forecast with Coloca in its multipurpose banquet hall, Il Palazzo.
Bonsoir and welcome once more, ladies and gentlemen, to this edition of the weather forecast. Hope you're having an amazing evening. Between tonight and tomorrow morning, the weather will be calm in most parts of the country, with temperatures as low as 13 degrees in the Adamawa region and 14 degrees in the west region. We'll have in the littoral and north regions as low as 16 degrees and the east region at 17 degrees, the south region at 20 degrees, and the southwest region would have temperatures as low as 21 degrees. Next, in the central region, this night we'll have no chance of precipitation in the entire region, and by morning will be the same experience with Yaoundé and Nangai Boko having the least temperature at 21 degrees. And in the northwest region tonight, there is no possibility of rainfall, and same experience by morning with Fundong and Kumbo having the lowest temperature at 14 degrees. And in the far north region tonight, there is no chance of precipitation in the region, and same experience by morning with Mokolo having the lowest temperature. I encourage you to pay a visit to the touristic camp of Rumsiki in the far north. Thank you for watching and see you next time.
Up tonight. International Customs Day has been celebrated under the theme Customs, Fostering Sustainability for People, Prosperity and the Planet. Minister Louis-Paul Motaze of Finance congratulated the officers for securing revenue. Campaigns have continued in Cameroon for the February 19 elections. Right ahead, we'll revisit the Code of Conduct for elections, which they must respect. And CRTV's all-news channel, CRTV News, is 2 years today. What do Cameroonians think about the channel? The details right now. Thanks for watching the 7:30 news on CRTV. I am Moki Edwin Kinzaka in Yaoundé. This year's International Customs Day has been celebrated in Cameroon under the theme Customs Fostering Sustainability for People, Prosperity and the Planet. Finance Minister Louis-Paul Motaze challenged the customs, who raised 36 billion CFA francs more than was expected in 2019, to relent no effort in collecting duties, safeguarding the country's territorial integrity and protecting citizens. Beatrice Goom reports.
The report card for the Customs Department in Cameroon in 2019 has a pass mark. The Minister of Finance, like the Customs boss, Edwin Fongot, are unanimous on this. They say, besides preventing the flow of counterfeit goods on the local market and fighting transnational crime, terrorism, drugs and arms, the Customs Department also helped in reducing trade barriers. In 2019, the department raised a surplus of 46 billion CFA francs compared to 2018. And for 2020, the finance boss has given them a new assignment.
Since we have embarked on a program with the IMF, we have some objectives, and what we are going to do in 2020 is to try to reach those targets. I know my collaborators of the Customs Department, they are working hard, and they have all my encouragement so as to enable them to go further.
The civilian and military celebrations of the Customs Day also saw the attribution of epaulettes to some custom personnel promoted to higher ranks.
Adjutant is a very honorific guy in custom. I'm so happy. It's a result of many efforts, hard work.
Retirees get a retreat package, while certificates are awarded to meritorious workers, and exhibition stands of goods seized by the Customs Department are visited. The merrymaking continues in the homes.
The customs have an important role to play in protecting the national economy and raising revenue for the state. The South 2 customs sector, for example, injected over 50 billion CFA francs into the economy in 2019. Cyril Nwazeke reports on the activities of the South 2 customs sector in contributing to Cameroon's state coffers.
The Cameroon Customs plays a pivotal role in the growth and protection of the national economy. With our important revenue collection that keeps increasing on a yearly basis, the Customs Department has been able to contribute to the stability of Cameroon's economy.
We have to work in close collaboration with all the stakeholders, with all the operators, in order to protect our economy, in order to protect the population against some substance that may affect the health.
The littoral 1 and 2 sectors of the customs should be cited so far as the best, but the South 2 sector with her performance for 2019 has risen up to the 3rd position. The competitive nature of these sectors impact on the national economy.
We intend to organize 2 important events, 2 continental events, and we need budget resources to finance the build of all this infrastructure.
Rendering Cameroon's public and private companies competitive through an annual contest, the Customs Department as well stimulates national economy, not to talk of the fight imposed in the borders for illegal trade. The South 2 customs sector alone in 2019 produced roughly 24 billion as customs revenue collection and about 34 billion as oil revenue. The Director General of the Cameroon Customs is working tooth and nail to ensure his department fills not the Cameroon economy.
From this year, those making money from online commerce will have to pay value-added tax on their activities. It is one of the innovations of the 2020 finance law, the goal being to ensure that the digital economy contributes its quota to the country's GDP. Clarice Aritakan reports.
Laptop, iPad or phone, you name it. The must-have for those doing business online. A major challenge for tax officials, they confess, as the country's tax systems were conceived with physical transactions in mind. This justifies adapting the legal framework to embrace the demands of the digital economy in order to ensure that e-commerce contributes its quota to the state's coffers. In 2020, therefore, online commercial transactions are subject to the payment of value-added tax for deals contracted in Cameroon through platforms. Commissions in connection with the said activities will equally be charged. For those making money from e-commerce, online platforms will also be required to uphold value-added tax obligations, which obliges them to calculate, declare, and pay VAT in Cameroon. As part of the dematerialization process to ease fiscal operations, registration, collection, and repayment modalities have been reviewed and simplified. All such activities will be performed online. Measures have also been put in place to ensure that defaulters do not go scot-free. Financial experts maintain that ignorance about certain aspects of e-commerce has led to a yet-to-be-estimated loss in tax revenue, which they claim is quite considerable. They also argue that exempting e-businesses from tax dues is unfair for competitiveness. The state treasury is expected to witness a positive boost from a sector hitherto considered niche, a sector referred to as a non-negligible contributor to the growth of the country's GDP.
A study conducted by the Ministry of Finance indicates that about 8,000 people claiming pension allowances lack required official documents that give them the rights of inheritance. They have been given up to March 2020 to provide the official documents, without which payments will be suspended. What is the implication of such a decision? Luma Slim Davis.
The civil service is an important component in the developmental structure of government. While civil servants go on retirement at the age of 55, some other government workers retire at 50. According to a recent government decision, next of kins have to produce the required document to be entitled to pension benefits.
It's a good exercise, and it is to avoid cheating. And through this exercise, I think that the government will benefit more from that operation. Though people are trying, some are trying because they were wrongly cut off of the salaries, but I think that the action is good.
This recent decision is understood by some, but not clear to others. However, a deadline of March 20, 2020 has been given for all concerned to furnish the needed documents. Those concerned may not necessarily have to come to Yaoundé. They could be served in the various regional capitals.
If the lady left behind documents, it is normal to have them. If my father, for example, died, passed away, and he left behind him documents, I have to take those documents and certify them that I'm the heir of my father, and normally I should benefit from the money.
It is certain that government is considering the social aspect of this operation.
A 3-day national workshop to promote the use and manufacture of agricultural products processing equipment is ongoing in Yaoundé. Participants are examining ways of boosting production and processing through the use of machines. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Gabriel Bairobi, now talks about the importance of the workshop.
This workshop is aiming to improve the local capacity to manufacture machinery in agriculture. You know that when we import tractors or other tools from abroad, they are very expensive, and we cannot ask our small stakeholders to buy those machines. That's why we are trying to undertake a reflection on how we can decrease the price of machinery.
The 7th International Responsible Tourism Conference is underway in Douala. The 3-day event that brings together participants from Cameroon and abroad aims at promoting responsible and sustainable tourism in the country. Details with Bala Saidu.
Developing sustainable tourism in the African continent in general and in Cameroon in particular is one of the top priorities of the actors working in the domain. The 3-day conference on international responsible tourism taking place at the Douala Maritime Museum focuses on sustainable tourism in emerging African countries like Cameroon.
It is an opportunity to sensitize each and everyone on the challenges of the responsible and sustainable tourism, particularly at this moment where we are about to host 2 major sporting events which will attract a lot of tourists.
The objective of this 7th International Responsible Tourism Conference is to evaluate development issues related to sustainable tourism and to make the public aware of the benefits of sustainable tourism, an occasion for the Cameroon National Shippers Council to valorize the image of the country.
We are going to bring our contribution for the success of and the welcoming of all the foreigners who are going to come in Cameroon.
The president of the international non-governmental organization known as Tourisme Sans Frontières, Marc Dumoulin, reiterated the importance of such meeting in Cameroon. The 7th International Responsible Tourism Conference is placed under the theme Promoting and Developing Responsible and Sustainable Tourism, adapted to ecotourism, coastal areas, cultural heritage and tradition.
The Minister of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, Achille Basiliken III, has declared a new era for development at the Cameroon's Employers Union GCAM. This was after a consultation meeting today with stakeholders in the economic sector. Saline Dolo reports from Douala.
Inadequate finance and lack of access to loans are major setbacks to the development of small and medium-sized enterprises in Cameroon. Minister Achille Basiliken III of the Ministry of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, Industries, Mines and Crafts visit to Douala was to see what can be done to improve the sector.
I had the opportunity in the company of the regional representative of the European Investment Bank to interact with entrepreneurs here in Douala. I am very happy to confirm that with the EIB tomorrow we'll be signing financing agreement of wealth of more than 12 billion CFA francs to assist SMEs.
The first Vice President of GCAM, Sanda Umaru, explained that the Center for the Development of SMEs at GCAM is intended to accompany them. The minister and his entourage also visited the factory of the Pilot Incubation Center at Boadibo in the Dibombari subdivision created in 2010 by the Chamber of Commerce, Mines, Industries and Craft for the transformation of agricultural products. They were equally drilled on the potentials of the center, which seeks to curb youth unemployment.
Cameroon's Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General René-Claude Meka, is in the far north region for an official visit ahead of the February 9 joint polls. He had a closed-door working session with all operational commanders. Ayuk Jan Ashu reports from Marwa.
Special measures have been taken by High Command in response to security challenges facing the Far North region. To take the pulse of the situation on the ground, the Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General René-Claude Meka, is on the field in the 4th Combined Military Region in the company of his close collaborators. In the first lap of the working visit, the top military official had a closed-door working session with operational commanders for on-the-spot appraisal. Beyond the habitual safety belts stretched across the Far North region, especially at the frontiers, there is total reinforcement during this electoral period in the 6 divisions of the region.
Campaigns for the February 9 municipal and parliamentary elections were on day 4 today in Cameroon. As political parties go canvassing for votes, they are bound to respect the code of conduct for election stakeholders, which is a set of binding rules to guarantee a smooth electoral process. Ebenezer Kanga presents the salient points of the Code of Conduct.
The Code of Conduct for election stakeholders in Cameroon was adopted at the 7th Consultation Forum between ELECAM and other stakeholders of the electoral process in September 2018. It is a set of binding rules to guarantee a smooth electoral process. Article 1, Sub 2 of the general provisions of the Code states that political parties shall work for the maintenance of social peace and national unity and reject violence in all its forms. Before the elections, each political party and each candidate, as well as their militants and sympathizers, shall refrain from tearing down, disfiguring, or removing the campaign posters of another party, group of parties, or attacking or offending other political parties or candidates in their posters, and refrain from directly or indirectly disturbing rallies, meetings, and other campaign activities of another party, group of parties, or candidates. During the elections, political parties shall respect the full rights of voters to exercise their right to vote without running the risk of being rough-handled or subjected to threats. They shall also refrain from causing riot. After the polls, the media, candidates, political parties, and observers shall refrain from the publication of provisional results of elections, respect the results of the polls, and use only channels for appeal provided by the law in case of contestation of results of the elections. The final provisions of the Code make it a point of duty for all the stakeholders in the electoral process to respect the terms of the Code of Conduct.
In Act 2 of our running series on the 10 to 12 p.m. slots on private radio stations in Yaoundé, we focus on the target audience, which is mainly the man on the street. Most of them say they love the debate and call-in programs, basically because the issues are directly affecting their lives, and those are issues that are examined by the radio stations. Cynthia Saptola reports.
Say what you like about the quality of radio programs aired from 10 to 12 on private FM stations. Programs like Melting Pot, Quatre S with an S for scandal targets an audience on the street who do follow these slots for what they call real and truthful information.
Programs like Embouteillage are programs that denounce certain social issues and reveal the truth in details, especially things people want to hide. I believe they go to the field and investigate.
These are the methods contribute a lot in edifying the population on certain social ills. After elections, for example, we know there were things people wanted to hide. These programs revealed it all. Any Cameroonian with a brain can detect what the truth is.
Ethically, there is a difference between enlightening the masses on social issues and making statements that hurt another's reputation. But for some of these programs to grab and maintain the attention of their listeners, this distinction is often dreary.
I believe some journalists do not take time to investigate their information before going on air. I feel it's just people settling scores.
I follow these programs. I think sometimes it can be true, just like it can be false. I think talking about someone's life, for example, in public is going a little too far.
And since the 10 to 12 broadcast slot is prime time on many private FM stations, it must be entertaining for its audience at all costs.
I love such programs on radio. Every time it goes on air, I would laugh.
Many may not adhere to the concept promoted by some of these radio broadcasters, but they acknowledge the power it has on the masses.
Today, January 28, makes it exactly 2 years since the all-news channel CRTV News went operational. For 2 years now, CRTV News has brought to its viewers factual, extensive news and entertainment program from the 10 regions of the country. Annabella Tabi reports on activities that marked the anniversary in Yaoundé.
The all-news channel CRTV News is two. Among the journalists present at the news meeting are 18 selected students from journalism institutions in Yaoundé. They are on a one-day immersion experience to mark the anniversary of the channel.
It was really a great experience because I've never really been in such a news conference before for the 2 years that I've been in school. So I really love the way the cooperations, the remarks, and everyone is learning day by day. So it was really a great experience. I really enjoyed it, and I just hope that by the end of the day I will be able to learn a lot of things, a lot of new things.
Away from their daily news reporting, they have carried out various social activities to mark the big day, such as a medical consultation, a friendly football match, and a visit to the Good Shepherd Orphanage here in Yaoundé. At exactly 6 p.m. this Tuesday, join Fonka Mutabo Bernard for a special anniversary edition to conclude celebrations marking the 2nd anniversary of CRTV News.
Nothing but the news. The Minister of Trade has visited the University of Yaoundé Tsoussoua, where promotional sales have been organized to fight price hikes. Minister Luc Magwambaga Tangana also visited the Catholic Mission in Kwabang, where some underprivileged families were handed basic commodities. Clarice Aretakang reports.
The initiative is a follow-up on government measures to address the high cost of living in the university milieu. In collaboration with the Trade Department, economic operators are making certain basic commodities available at affordable prices. The promotional sales campaign, which this time targets students and inhabitants of SWA, was instituted to enable the population get more and good quality products with less.
It's not easy. It means that it expresses the concern of government with his youth, in particular with the student. And we see that with student, between the student and the government, there is a permanent dialogue. This is also important.
Meanwhile, the meeting with underprivileged families of Nkwabang was the opportunity to take stock of their plight while acknowledging efforts made to improve their well-being. The children, drawn from various backgrounds, were assured of the support of the elite of the locality to ensure that their role in the society is not overlooked.
The International Association Les Gourmets, that brings together wives of diplomats and workers with international NGOs, has paid a visit to the Institute of Artistic Training of the Catholic Diocese of Banmayo. The visit was in line with their mission to promote intercultural exchanges and know-how. Details with Gerald Nanje.
Made up of spouses of members of the diplomatic corps and international organizations, Le Gourmet members were taken on a guided tour to discover the works of arts, which ties with one of their objectives.
They asked me to bring them here in Banmayo just to discover this center, and I seized the opportunity to make the center be known from all over Cameroon, all over the world.
Marveled with what they saw in this training institute, they could not hold back their appreciation.
There is such a nice place, very well organized, that's taking care of young talents to cultivate cultural aspect and as well their talents.
The Diocese of Mbamayo is poised to encourage talents and to edify human beings.
Since those ladies are also ambassadors, they are bringing the message of peace, the message of commitment, dealing with the challenges, social ones, coming together, living together, fulfilling the same aims, to encourage those youth in art training and to help them fulfilling their aims.
It is a passion. I like it because it's like I'm giving life to something.
This international association that has existed for the past 20 years has been carrying out charitable activities, especially empowering women and children. Also, getting international community together and helping them integrate quickly into the local culture.
The minister delegate to the Minister of External Relations in charge of the Commonwealth, Felix Mbayu, has received in audience some diplomats with whom he discussed relations with Cameroon and the reform of the United Nations. In one of the audiences, it was disclosed that Turkey and Africa will be organizing a summit in which Cameroon will be invited. Charles Ebune reports.
The other Spanish, Italian, Turkish and Korean ambassadors, plus the Canadian High Commissioner to Cameroon, tasked to brief Yaoundé on the Uniting for Consensus idea on the reform of plus 7 decades-old United Nations.
It's a position that would like that this reform becomes more transparent, more accountable.
Their audience with Minister Felix Mbayu of Commonwealth aims to harmonize Cameroon views with theirs on how best to meet African interests at the United Nations reform agenda.
In general, we would like that Africa is more represented. I mean, we consider that certain aspirations of the African group are completely legitimate.
The Turkish ambassador to Cameroon, Aïssé Sarraj, who was part of the delegation, remained alone minutes later for a one-on-one chat with Minister Felix Mbayu of Commonwealth.
Turkey-Africa Summit, which will take place very soon.
1 year less, Cameroon will stage the Africa Cup of Nations, and one of the outstanding stadia, Japuma, with a 50,000 capacity, is constructed with Turkish expertise.
On the sports, the second phase of the 2019-2020 Elite One Football Championship kicks off this Wednesday, January 29, with 9 matches programmed. Among the matches to watch out for are the Edingsport versus UMS of Loom encounter and the Tonnerre Calabar Club versus Fuvu of Baham duel. Boarding Summer visited some teams to size up their level of readiness for tomorrow's matches.
Edingsport adds to their first match of the second phase of the Elite One Football Championship. Players and officials are conscious of the fact that the first phase of the championship was not the best, and much work needs to be done to better their standings during the second phase of the championship. Currently ranked 14th on the league standings on 20 points, players of Edingsport have trained for several days and they know victory is their only watchword.
Even when we are leading, there is always something to ameliorate. We have seen our weaknesses. We will try to reinforce them. We will change our strategies game after game. Perhaps we can win.
Match by match, essayer d'être plus prudent pour vite se maintenir et peut-être ranger quelque chose à la fin.
For Tonnerre Calabar Club, that is ranked among the first 10 teams, precisely on position number 8, the players during their last training sessions before the resumption of the second phase of the Elite One Football Championship laid emphasis on how to maintain the winning spirit in the team. Edingsport is expected to play against UMS of Loom. Meanwhile, Tonnerre Calabar Club will welcome Fuvu of Baham. All the matches to be played this Wednesday.
That ends the news. But before we leave you, International Customs Day has been celebrated in Cameroon under the same
The to-win legislative and municipal elections would soon take place. To be allowed to vote, check your registration and identify your polling station before election day. Do this by sending an SMS to 8111 using the phone number that you gave at the time of your enrollment. You have 3 options to take. Option 1, type Elecam and send it to 8111. Option 2, type the national identity card number you gave at the time of your enrollment and send it to 8111. Option 3, type the registration number of your last registration and send it to 8111. The message received contains the following information: your full names, your date and place of birth, your father's name, your mother's name, your national identity card number, your registration number, your polling station, the name of your council of registration. With 8111, checking your registration and identifying your polling station is simple, easy, and fast. 100 francs, the cost of an SMS. This is a message from Elections Cameroon.